So on to round 19, and this is how they qualify. Jason Plato in pole position alongside James Thompson, his teammate. Matt Neal, championship leader, in 5th, alongside his main points rival Colin Turkington in 6th. Colin's teammate Rob Collard is in 10th, and 11th is Gareth Howell. He's in the 3rd car for Team Halfords. Owen Murray in the Alfa Romeo 156 is in 13th place, and in 18th is Erkut Kitzilamak. He's in the 4th Vauxhall Astra. And bringing up the rear, Mark Smith and Dave Pinkney, who had engine problems in qualifying. So let's get it going. There may well be some scores to settle in round 19. Over to your commentary team, Tim Harvey and first Ben Edwards.
Let's see what happens as the two Seats of Jason Plato and James Thompson try and get away up front here in the manufacturers' battle. Seat determined to try and score more than Vauxhall this weekend. Away we go. Good start from Plato.
Good start on the inside, straight past Thompson. I think he used those wet tyres to get superior traction off the line. Plato did well actually off pole to hold that position. Round the outside is going Thompson, side by side, bit of sideways from Giovanardi.
So side by side between James Thompson and Giovanardi for 2nd place. Up towards here corner, they're still side by side, robbing bodywork. Plato's getting away. Giovanardi sneaks into 2nd. Thompson runs a little wide. You'll see a lot of that as we go through the races. Behind him is Matt Neal. Watch out for the series leader joining into this battle. But Jason Plato's got a little bit of a break going.
Yeah, here we go. Talking of braking, they're coming up to the biggest braking area here, the fastest, longest straight in Britain, and he's on slick tyres at the front, and he appears to have good grip, even over the cars on wets that are immediately behind him.
So Plato stays in front. Giovanardi for Vauxhall 2nd, Thompson 3rd. Look at right behind there, though. It's very, very tight with Shedden. It is not Matt Neal. Sorry, it's Gordon Shedden who's running in 4th place. Then it's Gavin Smith and Matt Neal. Turkington in 7th place. Mike Jordan in 8th. Rob Collard 9th, and Tom Chilton in 10th position. So Tom just lost a place or two off the line there. Plato making a good getaway, but not by that much because Giovanardi's on the attack.
Yeah, not sure what tyres Shedden spotted, but he'll start on. But yeah, well spotted. He's in 4th place. But Plato's holding his own pretty well here on this difficult circuit with slicks on the front.
Yeah, Plato just wants to ease away, if possible, from the Vauxhall of Giovanardi, the two major manufacturers involved in British touring cars, fighting for the Manufacturers' Championship. And it's Seat in the sandwich, really, here, with Vauxhall in the middle of the two cars. And look at Gordon Shedden in 4th place, definitely beginning to attack James Thompson for 3rd. Plato using all the road out of Sear.
Yeah, this is just the sort of race that Giovanardi and Vauxhall probably could capitalise on. Unpredictable conditions, they may well be able to get that elusive victory that they've been searching for so many races since Knockhill last year, their 100th touring car race.
So let's have a look. We're on board with Gordon Shedden, running in 4th place. You've got James Thompson, the leader of the World Touring Car Series at the moment, racing in the British Series as well, when he can, of course. He's running 3rd, and ahead of him, Fabrizio Giovanardi, the Italian, who was so frustrating to lose the win at Donington last time out when Turkington got past him. And it's still very tight between these top three. Look, Thompson getting right up to the back of the car ahead of him, Giovanardi. Plato is not able to escape here. Plato is controlling the lead here, but not by much from Fabrizio Giovanardi.
Not by much, but he's got his front tyres up to temperature now and have good grip from the front. It's just a case of how long will the rears hang on for before they turn to jelly.
Mike Jordan on the grass in his attempts maybe to get past Matt Neal, and now he's under pressure from Tom Chilton. So
yeah, and contact on the front of Matt Neal's car, but that looks like he's gone off on the dirt because he's got mud all over the front of the car and it's stoved in the front spoiler. I think he's been off somewhere. I'm just looking down the lap times to see who's lapping quickly. Gavin Smith, sorry, just put in his fastest lap. He's actually catching this group up. He's in 5th place at the moment. But Thompson's struggling to find a way through here, but he hasn't got the straight line speed to do it, so he's going to have to do it round these corners somewhere. And here we are again through Corham, trying to get up the inside. They're both on the same tyre combination here, but it seems to be that the Vauxhall's sliding around more than Thompson's Seat.
Oh, it really is sliding all over the place, but so far Giovanardi's hanging on. Plato, Matt Neal's out. Is he out? He's still running. Matt Neal, though, on the grass with more damage, and he could be out of the race. Now, remember, he's got a 22-point advantage in the championship, but that's not a huge amount if you start non-finishing. This was the attack that came on him from his rival, Colin Turkington. Was there contact? Yeah, there was a bit into the S's, and that's where he ended up on the grass. Let's just see if he got hit on the exit there. might have been another car. Oh, he actually did. He hit those tyres hard, and then I think there might have been another car involved as he tried to reach. Oh yes, got hit by Owen Murray.
Oh, that's disaster, isn't it? And that was the two championship rivals duking it out side by side into the S's there. It looked like Turkington had the inside initially, but they both went in together and just slid. Well, somebody slid massively into the fields. That's on the exit to Riches. We could have a safety car situation here, both for the tyres on the circuit down the S's and the tyres in the cornfield. It's not a good day for picking sweet corn.
It could be two cars, I gather. Let's have a look. Shedden versus Chilton. Chilton on the outside, they made contact. It's Gordon Shedden and Tom Chilton, and they were running 5th and 6th, and they went piling off into the cornfield and completely vanished straight off in, no danger of rolling. This was how it looked from on board.
Yeah, so slippery. The guys now are just really starting to struggle just to hold the cars on the circuit.
Thompson desperate to get down the inside here. Now he's got a little chance to do so. They're side by side. It's a Russell. Oh, Giovanni spins. Takes Thompson with him, does he? Thompson keeps going. Thompson keeps going. Giovanni's the one that loses out.
Well, it was always going to be into that corner. I called it earlier, and Thompson timed that run perfectly, got clearly alongside, and Giovanni just kept coming in, hoping to get round the right-hand part of the of Russell and then have the line for the left. But contact was inevitable. And behind that, Matt Neal is still going with that tank-like Honda Integra that seems to absorb all the punishment again. Here we go again. Giovanni's trying to get around the inside together so he can take the left-hander, but he just spins as those jelly-like rear tyres lose their grip, and he just can't hold the car. It's oversteering there. He just can't hold that line.
So there was Thompson going around the outside. In a way, because it's slippery, not so much damage is done to the cars when they contact like that. And I think Thompson's got away, but he's dropped to 3rd because Gavin Smith took advantage of it. Now, you talked about the tank-like Honda. There it is. There's Matt Neal. He's running 11th.
Well, it's amazing, isn't it? You know, any other car and the radiators would be gone, everything would be gone, but his headlights are still working, and whilst there's 4 wheels on the car and it's going forward, he's going to try and get points, and he's still going. He's in 10th place, and Turkington, his rival, is in 6th, so he's going to gain a few points, but nothing like the result of a non-finish would be.
These three still a little way ahead of Giovanni 4th, Jordan 5th, Howell now 6th. Gareth Howell's moved up to 6th place, ahead of Turkington. That's significant. And you know, Team Halford's brought in a 3rd car this weekend to try and take points away from Colin Turkington and from others. And Gareth's done his job because he's just got past Colin Turkington. He's into 6th. Now Fiona Leggett trying to keep out of the way. This is a tricky place. It's only one line through the second part. Oh, and there's a rub! There's a rub between Leggett and Gavin Smith.
Well, Gavin Smith had to tuck to the inside because that was his only way of getting through without losing too much time. He had contact, and now he's got Thompson. He looks like he's got some broken rear suspension. The rear suspension has gone on Gavin Smith's car. His chance of victory snatched away from him. What a shame.
That rub with Fiona Leggett's car has broken the rear suspension, I think, on his car. Would you believe it? Gavin Smith in such a great place, and now Seat are on for a 1-2 finish, and the best Vauxhall will be 3rd with Fabrizio Giovanardi, and I can't believe that luck for Gavin Smith.
Well, Gavin's still got his foot in. He needs to be careful because he's doing 125 mile an hour here in a car that's steering from the rear and not from the front. This could be very, very dangerous when he gets to Coram. Look how he's driving that car. This reminds me of Nigel Mansell when he had that blowout. And look at the angle of that rear tyre.
He can't hold it any longer, Tim. I mean,
well, I think for his own good sake, he needs to stop because I wouldn't like to have seen that car go through Coram at full chat.
Well, he was pretty determined. Let's take another look at this again.
Yeah, he comes to the inside, and you see that snag there just at the rear, and his right rear tyre contacts the rear left of Fiona Leggett. He had to try and get through. He couldn't wait to get round the corner because he'd have lost too much time to Plato.
That was the damage done, and well, that's put him out of the race effectively. But for Seat, it means they're now running 1-2. So for Seat, this is going to be the perfect start to the day at Snetterton after a disappointing time at Donington last time out. They're going to take a 1-2. That's what they had when they were here at Snetterton last year in the try. But it's going to be Jason Plato to take his 4th win of the season. James Thompson follows him home dutifully. It's 1-2 for Seat, and third place is going to go, I think, to Giovanardi for Vauxhall. But Gavin Smith, with that damaged rear suspension, is still going. Jordan's got a chance to take him on the line, perhaps, for fourth position. It's Gavin Smith trying to keep it going. He's driven heroically to keep going here. Jordan's going to try and come back to the inside. He doesn't make it. And Gavin Smith, perhaps the driver of the day, to bring that car home in fourth position. So Jason Plato takes the first win of the day ahead of teammate James Thompson. Fabrizio Giovanardi finished third for Vauxhall ahead of his teammate Gavin Smith, who managed to just squeeze across the line ahead of Mike Jordan. Matt Neal finished in sixth place despite the damage ahead of Gareth Howell. Mark Proctor was an excellent eighth ahead of James Kay, and Jason Hughes took 10th. The grid for the second touring car race of the day looks like this. Jason Plato and James Thompson on the front row once again. Then it's Giovanardi and Smith for Vauxhall on the second row. Mike Jordan and Matt Neal line up together on row number 3. On the fourth row, it's Gareth Howell and Mark Proctor. James Kay lines up 9th ahead of Jason Hughes. Rob Collard and Dave Pinkney line up together on the 6th row of the grid. Then it's Fiona Leggett and Martin Bell. Colin Turkington starts way back in 15th place. Erkut starts alongside him 16th. Then it's Tom Chilton behind him on the 9th row of the grid, and watch out also for him and Gordon Shedden coming through. At the back, we've got Owen Murray and Mark Smith. We're all set for the start of round 20 of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship here at Snetterton. Jason Plato and James Thompson will try to take it away from the front row of the grid, and it's a great start from Jason Plato. Plato gets away well. Thompson and Giovanardi will battle for second place, as they did in race 1. Giovanardi in the Vauxhall trying to get up the inside into Bridges corner, and he's done it. Giovanardi into second place, and Gavin Smith trying to follow through there. Jason Hughes on the outside trying to make up a place or two. Giovanardi in second, and Thompson trying to get the place back round the outside through Sear corner. Can't quite do it, and Giovanardi in second.
Yeah, good start by Giovanardi, very similar to the first one. Got the immediate jump on Thompson. Oh, Martin Bell off at the first corner, and David Pinkney, and one of the Alphas, that's Mark Smith's Alpha, so 3 cars out the first corner.
Yeah, that's so we might see safety car out. Plato leads. Giovanardi holding off Thompson, then Gavin Smith. Matt Neal going well in this race already, well up in the order. He's running 5th. Mike Jordan was battling with Gareth Howell in the background, and safety car on track. So safety car is coming out. They'll be racing until they get back to the line, though, so there's still about a third of the lap to go. Yeah,
it looks like they're going to hold formation at the moment. Jordan's made one of the MGs looking very racy there, coming out of Jordan. Oh, an MG going down the inside into Russell.
Yeah, I think that's Collard trying to get past Jordan, but he didn't make it. They'll race to the line, and then, of course, they have to settle into position and hold position because the yellow flags are out, no overtaking. Gareth Howell was able to get past Mike Jordan on that previous lap, so he's moved up into 6th place, but it's Plato that leads at the end of the opening lap from Fabrizio Giovanardi 2nd, James Thompson 3rd, Gavin Smith in 4th, then Matt Neal, Gareth Howell.
David Pinkney with the bonnet up. He's not got much vision there.
First lap has been completed in this second touring car race of the day. Poor old Dave Pinkney in trouble. This is the view at the start from on board with Gordon Shedden.
Yeah, up to the first corner. It's quite a long drag to the first corner, so the cars are already up to 4th gear. Looking for some room. We're just looking in front. Goes round the outside. That looked like Pinkney got sideways on cold tyres, didn't it? Whoa! One of the cars right up in the air. That looked like just Pinkney got sideways there. Slightly cold rear tyres, maybe a dampish track.
I think it's Martin Bell.
Bell got launched over the front corner that flipped the bonnet up.
That's why Dave Pinkney now running back with the bonnet covering the windscreen. And Bell was fortunate there that the car didn't flip over. It went pretty high. A very unfortunate incident for the privateer with his BMW.
Oh no, that bonnet has creased itself across the roof, so
they can't just shut it down very easily. That's a very great disappointment. So Pinkney is pushed away back into the pit garage. End of race for him. I mean, that was a classic demonstration of cold rear tyres. I mean, that's the most obvious representation of it.
Absolutely. I mean, the drivers go to the grid with the rear tyres actually on the front of the car and then put them on the rear on the grid because they can warm them up better that way. But even so, the first time you turn into the first fast corner, it's always a little bit of a leap of faith.
Yeah, so poor old Pinkney there in trouble. The lights are still on the safety car, so it looks as though we're going to get another lap out of this. Coming up to cross the line, Martin Bell's car still to be moved out of the way. Let's see if we can have a quick word with Gordon Shedden. Now, Shedden started at the back. He's running 15th at the moment. Let's have a quick word. This is Ben calling Gordon again. Gordon, you're behind the safety car. You managed to make it through that opening lap, but I think some of that action happened pretty close to you, didn't it?
Yeah, a little bit too close for my liking. You know, I ended up not too bad from the start. I tried to go round the outside of the first corner just as the BMW and Pinkney got into each other, so obviously it compromised me quite a bit, but at least I'm still in the race.
Up to the line they come, wait for the green flag to be shown, and then we'll be
Jordan's
racing.
Dropped a long way back. Look at the gap behind Matt Neal it is, and Rob Collard desperately trying to get past, but he can't overtake before they cross the start-finish line. That's Mike Jordan on the left. Now Collard's up alongside the outside. James Kay behind, side by side into the corner. He's passed. So has Jordan got a problem, or did he just get a very bad restart? Look at the gap. Now here's inside Shedden just up the back of Proctor, who's having a brilliant meeting so far.
Yeah, Mark Proctor really enjoying himself. I saw him after that first race. He was delighted with the 8th place finish and really, as you say, enjoying himself, getting the most out of the Civic, but he runs a bit wide there. Here's a chance for Shedden to get alongside, up along the centre straight, side by side, up across the line. Let's see if Shedden just noses ahead perhaps as they cross the line. Yeah, he does fractionally, but Mike Jordan still in front of this queue, and now more side-by-side action coming into Rich's corner, and Proctor has got to watch out because Owen Murray is now on the attack. Pollard, Chilton has just slipped past James Kay. James Kay gets terribly sideways.
Yeah, and then drives through the puddle, which won't do his tyre temperatures any good at all. Just a fraction of a mistake and you're through. I mean, Chilton got through there.
Battle for second here, Giovanardi in the Vauxhall. Thompson, side by side, Thompson's got, oh, he's gone straight on. Thompson cuts forward, he gets hit by Giovanardi rejoining. Smith now has got the chance to nip through. Matt Neal's in there, so's Gareth Howell, right in, tucked in behind his teammate. Howell doing a great job for Team Alford on his return to the series. Race winner last year at Silverstone. Take another look at this.
Yeah, Plato out in the clear, Giovanardi up the inside of Thompson turning in. They try and go around side by side. There's a briefest of touch. That puts Thompson wide. He goes straight across, rejoins, and slammed into the back by Giovanardi, and Smith, Neal and Howell all try and get up the inside.
So Thompson's the big loser. That's it again from the onboard shot with Thompson. And
that's the bug's eye view.
Yeah, the bug's eye view. Gavin Smith tries to escape from his teammate, who meanwhile is keeping Matt Neal right behind him. Then Gareth Howell. Thompson, though, is beginning to catch them all up again. Behind that group, Turkington is now running 7th. Jordan is 8th, Collard 9th, and Gordon Shedden is in 10th place. So that the third of the Team Halford's cars going well. Giovanardi very wide. Here's a chance for Matt Neal. Matt Neal's down the inside. Are the Italians across the grass? Right in front of the championship leader. Giovanardi gets back on, but he's lost another few places.
Well, it's just going from bad to worse. He lost a bit of aero on the front of that car, and it compromised it going through Coram. The car ran wide with less downforce on the front, and that compromised him coming into Russell. In fact, he just brakes too late there. He can't stop the car at all. Fortunately, Neal lets him slide across in front of him and goes through, but Giovanardi's just not going to make the end of this race at this rate.
Oh, there was a touch there again. Here's a chance for Thompson. He's got the inside into Sear, and Turkington's going to try and follow him through as they come out of the corner. There's contact between Smith and Turkington, and now they're absolutely side by side. So Thompson has made the move, but that Vauxhall, remember, has a strong engine, and that means that he's still in the battle. He's still on the inside for the next corner. Turkington, it might not have enough here to get in front into the S's. Here we go into the S's. Turkington trying to go around the outside. He'll have the inside for the next bit. Oh, that's good racing.
Yeah, and now Jordan will follow him through, because now Gavin Smith's been mugged. And look what's happening behind. That's exactly it. Jordan, perfectly positioned, follows through.
So, as you said, Gavin Smith, when he loses one place by doing what he's doing, then he tends to lose 2 or 3 places in one go. So that's exactly what's happened. And it means that Thompson is now up into 3rd place, Turkington 4th, Jordan 5th, and Gavin Smith now under pressure. Oh, he's been hit! Smith gets a real old wallet there, and that ends him into the tyres ultimately as a result of that, and it's all over, I think, this time. They will be coming across the line to start their last lap this time around. Jason Plato has led from the start. He had a 4.5-second lead at one stage, but Matt Neal has closed down the gap, and now will he go on the attack in this final lap, or will he settle for second place. Plato, his mirrors are filled with the orange Honda Integra of Matt Neal, but where's the opportunity going to come? He's not going to challenge into Sear. It's out of this corner that he needs a decent run.
Yeah, Plato is so good at this. He drives his line inch perfect. You know, as we saw with Gavin Smith, as soon as you defend, you actually make it much easier for the guy to get on the back of you. Plato doesn't do that until it's absolutely necessary. So, like, just here he'll defend, but around the rest of the lap he was driving impeccably on line. Matt Neal's going to try around the outside, it's too risky, so Plato defends to the inside. Can Matt get a better exit? He's on the outside, this could be contact at the bomb hole. It's not a good place to have contact.
Oh, Matt Neal sideways, championship leader in big trouble, sideways, he gets it back again. It's Plato and Matt Neal, side by side, knocking into each other.
It's not over yet, Matt won't like that, his car's quick round here, now he's on the back.
This is into the final corner now. Will Matt Neal take the pass? Yes, he's down the inside. They make more contact. Matt Neal sideways. He's off this time. Jason Plato across the grass. Matt Neal's facing the wrong way. Can he get it started? Jason Plato's going to win the race. Matt Neal went for it, but he's lost his chance of getting points. And Jason Plato takes the win. But there are going to be some huge discussions after that one. James Thompson crosses the line in second. Turkington takes third. Jordan finishes in fourth place. Fifth place goes to Collard, sixth for Shedden. Let's just see where Matt Neal comes through. He comes through in eighth position. And Tim, there are going to be some big arguments about that last lap, surely.
It all flared up at Donington between the MG team, RAC team. It all started back here, very slow into the right hand there, Plato, but stays on the inside. Matt Neal gets a better run on the outside. They end up leaning on each other. We can't see the relative angles. They get through that one together, and Matt Neal is now incensed, and you know what's coming when they get down to Russell. Matt Neal pushes it through Coram here and just goes up the inside. Plato's trying to defend. He moves away a little bit there. Matt Neal's up the inside. Now they're turning to the right, and Matt Neal just loses it on the grass.
So the result of a controversial second race. Jason Plato the winner from teammate James Thompson. Turkington finishes third. Mike Jordan takes fourth ahead of Rob Collard. Then Gordon Shedden survives to take sixth. Tom Chilton seventh. And behind him, series leader Matt Neal in eighth place. Ninth place for Gareth Howell. And finishing in 10th, Owen Murray.
Thanks, Vicky. This is how they line up. Gareth Howell on pole position and Matt Neal alongside him on the front row. Tom Chilton is on the second row. And alongside him is Gordon Shedden. Watch out for a good result. Rob Collard is next with Mike Jordan lining up in sixth position. But Colin Turkington desperate for some points. He starts in seventh place and James Thompson is alongside. The man who's won both races so far today, Jason Plato, starts ninth, and Owen Murray is in 10th position in the Alfa Romeo. Then it's Mark Proctor. He's got Fiona Leggett alongside. She's looking to get back into the points. Erkut Kiziliamak, the Turkish driver, lines up next with Gavin Smith, who's been a bit of a star today. Let's see if he can get a decent result. The eighth row sees Jason Hughes and the Italian Fabrizio Giovanardi. He had damage in that last race. James Kay and Mark Smith are together on the ninth row of the grid, and then right towards the back, let's see whether David Pinkney and Martin Bell can produce some magic from the last row of the grid.
Thank you very much, Vicky. We're all set then for round number 21, the 2/3 distance of the championship, and it's Gareth Howell and Matt Neal who will be starting them on the front row of the grid. Tom Chilton on the second row with Gordon Shedden. So 3 Team Halfords cars right up there near the front. Let's see whether they're going to work as a team and try and support Matt Neal in his attempts to gain some more vital points. He's got no ballast on board, but the Seats, of course, have Jason Plato. He starts back in 9th position. James Thompson, his teammate, starts 8th. They're both carrying plenty of ballast. It'll make them just that little bit slower in a straight line off the slower corners, accelerating that ballast. So let's see how they do manage. The Seats looking for their 3rd win of the day. Well, we've had 3 wins in a day before, but as you mentioned earlier, Tim, no team has managed 3 1-2 finishes. I think that might be asking a bit too much here this afternoon. Great weather conditions here at Snetterton in Norfolk. As we're all set for the start, the red lights are on. Away we go, and Gareth Howell trying to get away, but it's a good start from teammate Matt Neal. Matt Neal being squeezed there by Tom Chilton. Tom Chilton makes a blistering getaway from the second row of the grid, and the Vauxhall gets in front of the Team Halfords Honda. It's Chilton who leads into riches.
Yeah, and look at that MG. Turkington is that well up there as well. Fabulous start by him. And I mean, Chilton, this is exactly what he wanted. He loves this circuit. He loves the high-speed corners. I think actually that's Collard in third place. Brilliant start by him in the MG. But Chilton loves this place, and it's not the start that Halford's wanted. 3 cars on the front 2 rows, and they've only got Matt Neal in the top 3.
Chilton won 2 of the 3 races here last year. He loves Snetterton. He's trying to warm the tyres up there again, as he did last year. It's Chilton who leads. As you say, Rob Collard made a great start. He's in 3rd. Gareth Howell behind him. Collard's attacking for 2nd, trying to get past Matt Neal. Matt Neal holds it at the moment. Behind them, we've got Turkington 6th, Thompson 7th, Jordan 8th, Plato down in 9th place, so he didn't get off particularly well. And Mark Proctor's had a good start. He's 10th, but I'm afraid Jason Hughes in trouble. He had problems with a broken steering in the last race. Maybe had a bit of contact in this one. And here through, Russell for the first time. It's Chilton for Vauxhall leading.
Yeah, great start. I mean, I think Gareth Howell didn't get off the line quite well. Obviously, if you watch in front, Gareth Howell a little bit slow. Chilton gets a good run, goes for the gap. Fortunately, just gets through. If Matt Neal had moved over, that could have been disaster. But he just gets through, and that's a perfect start.
Brilliant getaway from Chilton. We've seen incidents on this start line in the past, but they made it this time. Look at the battle for 3rd. Collard's trying to take 3rd place there from Gareth Howell. Gordon Shedden's tucked in behind as well. All the orange cars are absolutely together. In fact, so's Turkington. 4 orange cars, 2 different teams, and Turkington's going to try and take advantage of this. All happening behind Tom Chilton. Here we are on board with Turkington, desperate to close up on Matt Neal. Where does he go?
Well, he's using the toe off both cars, isn't he? Off one, off the other. He's definitely got Gareth Howell on his left, but is he going to gain the place? Yes, he is.
So he's managed to slip past Gareth Howell. We didn't see quite what happened to Howell, but he has gained 1 position, and now he's behind Gordon Shedden. Howell lost another place there to James Thompson in the Seat. So Howell definitely lost a few places as a result of going into the S's there. Thompson's gained 1. Mike Jordan's now under pressure from Jason Plato, the winner of the 2 races. Drive-through penalty, that is for Dave Pinkney, and presumably, I don't know whether that was a jump start or some other problem, but he's going to have to come through the pits.
Well, Dave Pinkney was starting at the back. He obviously thought they were watching back there, but they have judges of fact on all the pit starts and grid positions, and he obviously jumped the start.
Now let's have a look on board with Shedden there behind Collard. This is the battle for 3rd place. Collard has run a touch wide. Here comes Shedden, makes contact down the inside into Oh, and another big bang in the side.
And Turkington's going to get both of them.
Yeah, Turkington says, thanks guys, I'm through here. And Turkington takes advantage of it all.
Yeah, now battle down the straight. The MG's got good power, and Turkington's got a new engine in. They changed that after the first race. Collard's got damage falling back in the background from that incident.
And battle up front between Chilton and Neal for the lead as well, so it's happening everywhere. On board with Thompson here, he's tucked in 6th place, I think it's now 5th. Look at it, side by side, more contact. Turkington really in the charge, and Thompson's taken advantage of all of that, so Thompson slipped through. Well, where did it next?
I think when Jason Plato pulled that 9 grid reversal out and saw 3 Halford's cars up there with no weight on them, he must have thought they were just going to disappear and it would be a boring race. So we've got anything other than that.
And
but
Matt
Neal's taken the lead from Chilton somewhere unseen.
So Matt Neal now in front of the Vauxhall of Tom Chilton. Then it's the Seat of James Thompson. Seat has come up to 3rd place. He started down in 8th, did James Thompson. He's already in 3rd, and then behind him is Turkington, then Plato. So again, the Seats are on the charge here. They've taken advantage of people tripping over each other. Mike Jordan in the white and blue car is running 6th. Gordon Shedden is 7th. Then it's Mark Proctor in a great 8th place again. 9th position for Gareth Howell and 10th for Gavin Smith.
Yeah, Mark Proctor's got great pace and he's stayed out of all the trouble this time. I think we can see now when Matt Neal took the lead, going back at last lap this was, coming down the main straight. Chilton's in the lead, and we've lost the shot.
Oh, well, it's look on the grass again as they come out of the S's. Everybody's getting a bit wayward here. We're on board with Shedden looking back, and he's trying to fight his way back into the top 6 once again. Let's just remind you, Matt Neal leads this race. You remember the incident between Matt Neal and Jason Plato in race number 2, but the stewards decided to take no action whatsoever, remember. So Matt Neal and Jason Plato, no action was taken. The result stood. Plato was the winner of that 2nd race. Neal had to settle for an 8th place, but it put him on the front row, and now he leads this one. So Neal has a great opportunity to score vital points here. Tom Chilton has dropped back a bit in 2nd, doesn't quite have the same pace.
And now he's going to have to watch out because the Seat of Thompson is getting a bit closer.
Yeah, the battle's going to be second place. Matt Neal's got away, he's got zero ballast, he's got a hopefully undamaged car. It should be a relative cakewalk for him to wrap this race up, but behind, well, anything's possible for second place.
Yeah, it could be anybody at all, couldn't it? And everybody's looking for points in this one. Turkington's in the middle there in the Team RAC MG, and he's the most desperate in a way. Remember that Jason Plato, who's now behind Turkington, has closed to within 10 points of him in the championship here today. So that's another tussle to watch. Chilton's still in second. There's the Seat of Thompson. Turkington, Plato with the yellow strip across his windscreen. Things have settled for a moment. We're only still in the early stages. We're on lap number 5 out of 18, so not quite 1/3 distance. And this group all running smoothly at the moment. Behind Turkington, Plato, then it's Mike Jordan. Gordon Shedden still running. He's in 7th place. Mark Proctor 8th. And then it's Gavin Smith and Gareth Howell. James Kay back in 11th. Owen Murray is currently in 12th. Fiona Leggett's in 13th place. So she's only just a few places outside a point-scoring top 10 finish. Everybody through Russell Corner, accelerating hard up the centre straight. They're up to about 130 miles an hour again at this end of the circuit, and again that gap first to second has opened up. But what about the gap second to third? I think Thompson might be getting a bit closer.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting because obviously Chilton has got he's got that car that's good at the early part of the race. He loves this circuit, but he's going to be battling with Thompson, who's got a lot of weight on the car. So it's going to be see what they can do.
Massively quick fastest lap from Gordon Shedden on that last lap. Very quick, and he's in the 1:12s, everybody else in the 1:13. You know, Gordon's already had more fastest laps than anyone else in this series, and he's putting another one in there at the moment. James Thompson coming through. Shedden, I think, is at the back of this group, yeah. Back of this queue, so the fastest man on circuit at the moment. The orange car there, behind the white and blue car of Jordan. Then we've got the next group, which is being led by Proctor. But there is the onboard view with Shedden. He's got fastest lap, but the question now is, can he get past the Eurotech car of Jordan?
Well, he's going to try very hard because obviously he started on the second row and it all went wrong, pear-shaped for him in the first early laps, and now he wants to fight his way back. It's the last race of the day, so he's going to go for it.
Wants to finish this race on a high. He's got his home meeting in Scotland coming up in a few weeks' time, so he wants to go there on a high. It was brilliant at Donington, of course, winning 2 races there. Across the line they go, and it's still Matt Neal leading by 2.1 seconds. The gap between Chilton and Thompson's down to 0.4 of a second now, and the Seats are definitely on the charge, particularly that car of James Thompson. Shedden there, as we know, very, very fast, but now that he's joined the back of the queue, it's a bit harder to make progress. Here comes Thompson now. He has closed the gap. So we've got Tom Chilton, the sort of young superstar of touring cars nowadays, up against the man who used to be the young superstar. He's still pretty young, but he used to be the wonder kid. Nowadays he's an experienced double champion, and he leads the World Touring Car Series. There's James Thompson in car number 14. How's he going to find his way past Chilton?
Well, it's going to be an interesting battle between these two, but Chilton's got something to prove. He may be the young superstar, but he's got a younger brother who's racing here today in T-cars, and he's won his race. I know that he'll be hawking his talents around the touring car paddock sooner or later if his older brother's progressed anything to go by.
Thompson has a little, not really a look at getting down the inside, but just positions his car to say to Chilton, watch out, I'm here, I've caught you. Howell has either had a spin or a mechanical problem. He's pulled off to the side of the circuit. Maybe a bit of damage to the front spoiler. I don't know if that was now or happened earlier, but it looks like Howell's out, and that's unfortunate. On his return, here comes Thompson. Little look into riches, but they barely brake there, do they, Tim?
Yeah, it's just a brush on the brakes, really, and as you say, Tomo's just doing the old spoiler tactics, trying to get Chilton's attention in his mirror, which could distract him enough to just miss a braking point or make a small error of judgment. But it's going to be difficult to get past. I'm not sure yet where the best place is, but Chilton at the moment is holding his line, driving his race, very much as we've seen sort of Plato do in the past. He knows when he has to defend, and it's not until Thompson's really, really close or has a slightly better area of the circuit.
It's that awareness a racing driver has to have. He has to be looking ahead, obviously, to get his line through the corner, think about what's coming up next. But he also has to be totally aware of where the car behind him is every moment.
Yeah, you can bet your life that Chilton's looking in his mirrors many, many times over the lap, usually on the exits of the corners, just to judge how close the other car is, and then decide early whether you have to defend the corner or not.
Now, the slide we saw there from Chilton, we're watching from on board Thompson. Is that an indicator the rear tyres are working a bit?
No, it's an indicator the car's set up fairly fairly oversteery, which they all are now, to help save the front tyres. They have as much oversteer as they can possibly get away with in the faster corners to let the car grip better in the slow corners and not wear the front tyres.
Well, he's doing enough so far to hold on to that second place, despite Thompson's pace behind them. They've got that little gap back to Turkington, who's fending off Plato and Jordan, and then right behind Jordan is Gordon Shedden, who, as we know, is very quick, but he's in a similar car to Jordan, the same kind of Honda Integra, and so it's proving to be difficult. They're so evenly matched, these cars, as they head down the straight, just under 140 miles per hour before they get onto the brakes here, going into the S's, and still Shedden can't quite get in there. Follow them through the corner and out of the S's through the right-hander again. Just look how close he gets. Now they're really picking up the pace, flat out accelerating, about 90 miles an hour through the bomb hole. Now back up to about 120 miles an hour, and Thompson up ahead, I think, has got past Chilton. Thompson in the Seat. Oh, a little left foot braking going on there from Mike Jordan. You can see the brake lights. Thompson has moved up into second place, and that's how he did it.
Yeah, it looked like a little mistake from Chilton. That was too easy. I think that was into the bomb hole, and this is exiting the S's. He's got that oversteer. He's got dirt on his left-hand tyres. Now he's going to struggle for pace turning into the bomb hole. Gets an even bigger slide, and through goes Thompson.
Beautiful opportunity, piece of driving from Thompson. Chilton just overcooking it slightly. So, all the way from 8th place on the grid, Thompson is now into second place. Wonder if he can catch Neil. There's a big gap, 3.5 seconds between Matt Neil and Thompson. There you are, that's a big old gap, but we're a half distance in the race, just over, and there's still a good deal of time to go. I think what James wants here is a safety car, but things looking pretty clean at the moment.
I think he would, but at the moment it's okay. Turkington's the next one up who's going to have a go at Chilton, and I have to say, look at the crowds. This Snetterton circuit's looking absolutely fantastic this weekend. Crowds have flocked here, and Jonathan Palmer and his team have done a really good job to get this circuit ready.
Yeah, it's looking immaculate, and it's providing some fantastic racing here today in all sorts of weather conditions. But Thompson has fought his way through to second. As you say, it's now the orange car there of Colin Turkington, who's going to try and put the pressure on Tom Chilton. Chilton definitely is fighting with the car a bit more than the others around him. Doesn't mean that he won't hold on to that position, but it's harder work for him, I think, inside that cockpit at the moment. Just to let you know that we lost Collard, obviously, earlier on in this race, so that was a shame. And Giovanardi, actually, had said they'd sorted it and got him out. I'm not sure that he actually managed to do much in the end. So he had problems right early on in this race. But we're back on board with Turkington. Plato, meanwhile, is trying to get past Shedden. Well, Shedden trying to get past him, rather, and didn't quite make it. Got alongside, but couldn't hold the position.
Yeah, just trying to compromise his line. He's got a good run at him here, and Plato's going to have to probably defend to the inside. Yes, he moves over here. Are we going to see one of these round the outside out-braking manoeuvres?
Got to be brave to do that on Plato. Oh, and he's right down the outside. That was brave. Can he hold the position? Shedden trying to make the move on Plato, and he's made it work, but Plato's going to tuck back on the inside. They're rubbing as they turn into the bomb hole. Who's going to come through? Side by side again. Plato retakes the place, and Jordan's going to try and follow him, and he has followed him. Jordan has dropped behind these two, but he follows Plato through, and they're still tied together as they come down to Russell. Shedden's going to go for the inside line here. He's going to try and take the place back. Will he get slowed down in time? Yes, he does. He retakes Mike Jordan.
Yeah, great driving by Jordan. He gave him room. He knew if he turned in there, he'd get pushed out wide, and it just doesn't work. So close between these three, and well, you do wonder what's going through the mind of the rival teams, don't you?
It's great racing, though. It's good to see, so close, and the different teams all mixing it together so well here on this 1.9 mile Snetterton track, former airfield circuit. There is Jason Plato. Now, he's currently in 5th place. Useful points, but I'm sure he'd like to score a few more than that. Meanwhile, Shedden, his job really is to try and get up with his teammate Matt Neil, who leads this race. But just a quick note that Matt Neil's lead has been eroded a bit by James Thompson. Long way to go, but it's down to 2.3 seconds. So Thompson actually took 7/10 of a second there. Shedden there had another look, didn't he, down the inside of Plato?
He was trying to dive up the inside. It didn't come off that time. He did the round the outside overtake perfectly the first time, but then Plato executed a perfect switchback.
Yeah, good to watch. I mean, that's quality racing between these two. Really driving to the absolute limit and giving each other only just enough room. Mike Jordan's watching this from behind. Here we're with Shedden. We're riding on board. You see how close they get at speeds of 130 miles an hour. Then on the brakes, tight into this tricky little chicane. So easy to overcook that and end up on the grass. And we've seen a few people do that today. but this time it's neat and tidy. Up across the line they come again. This time 12 laps have been completed. We're on to lap number 13 out of 18.
Yeah, that Seat, of course, is a lighter car, different specification to the BTCC cars, so it's perhaps less inertia to slow down on the brakes and to accelerate out of the slow corners. It should lose out on the long straights to the Honda, which is perhaps why we're seeing the Integra catch him towards the end of the straight, and it's nip and tuck.
He's carrying ballast though, this Seat, as well, isn't he? Because he won the last race, so that sort of counters it a bit again. So
yeah, 36 kilos, so some of the advantage lost in that area.
Now, what was the gap last time? Matt Neal did lose a bit of his lead last time around, but not quite as much. Tom's all a bit closer, Shedden almost touching the back of the Seat. I think Plato just locked that inside, unloaded rear wheel slightly. This is great driving, beautiful control. They might not be passing and repassing, but I tell you what, these guys are absolutely on the limit, and it's a joy to watch drivers of this caliber really pushing to the edge. Plato a touch wider into Coram, but sometimes that's just a line you choose, a slightly wider approach into the corner.
Yeah, oh, Mike Jordan's locked up. Is he going to go straight up? And meanwhile, Shedden's got really close up the back. Yeah,
well spotted. He went straight across the grind. He's got a problem. What is it?
I think he may have a puncture or a suspension breakage there, and that could be why he locked up.
Looked like the car was...
Watch the right-hand side as we're looking at it. Yeah, he looks like he's got a puncture there.
Yeah.
I think perhaps he's, it's one of those things, they ride the curves so much here that the chances of getting a puncture are quite high, and he's obviously just got a puncture. That's why he locked up, not his fault.
Well, at least he's got the car in one piece, I suppose, but that's a great shame to lose him from the race. So that will promote Gavin Smith now up to 7th place as a result of Michael Jordan going out. Lead us through, and the gap didn't really change that last lap. It was 1.8 seconds again, so Matt Neal responding to the attack that James Thompson has mounted over the last few laps. Bits of bodywork flapping. Gordon Shedden might be a bit nervous about that. He got black flagged earlier this year when he had a rear bumper flapping off his car because the officials thought it might be dangerous. I don't think he's in quite that situation here, is he?
No, I don't think so. There's no one close behind him that it could represent danger to either, which is another factor that the officials take into consideration. But it looks fairly okay at the moment. But these two are getting very close, and certainly the gap between these two and the gap at the front very close.
So Jason Plato, former British Touring Car champion, up against Gordon Shedden, still in his first full season of British Touring Cars, but already a multiple race winner, and he's impressed many people this year, has Shedden. He's keeping the pressure on one of the toughest drivers in the business so far. Still a few laps to go as well. 14 laps completed. We're on to lap number 15 now, and it's still the tightest battle that we've got here for 5th place between Plato and Shedden. Lovely view through Sear Corner there. Using the curve a touch on the inside, up through the gears, up to 6th gear, maximum pace, and then onto the brake through this very tricky left-hand corner. That's braking through the corner. The car is dancing, unstable on the turn-in. You've got to get it all sorted out and still try and make the second part of the corner as well.
Yeah, Plato having to defend, and now Shedden trying to get back inside, but Plato stays tight to the inside. That's exactly the manoeuvre that resulted in contact with Matt Neal at the end of the second race.
But Shedden backed out of it. He's decided not to play it too risky. He wants to make sure he gets to the finish. He's going to try and push Plato that little bit harder. Once he can fully get alongside, then there's less Plato can do to shut the door. Let's take a look from the onboard view.
Yeah, watch Plato. He hangs to the right and stays tight to the right to stop Shedden getting up the inside, which Shedden was aiming to do. When he did that move on Matt Neal shot round the outside to try and get round the outside, and that was what resulted in danger. But now that Shedden has seen that, he might try the outside next time.
Yes, that's right. So the two of them come through. Still, they're running 5th and 6th. Oh, and there's a chance there for Shedden, but you ain't going to go around the outsed. And he got a bit of dirt on the tyres by doing that as well, I think.
Yeah, he did. They both had a bit of a moment. They're exiting Riches, but certainly once again, Shedden's got a good run at him coming onto the straight. There's a back marker. That looks like Mark Smith's Alpha going to be just about in the wrong place at the wrong time when Shedden and Plato come round.
Matt Neal and James Thompson still 1st and 2nd, and the two of them, gap remains much the same. What's happened behind? They're still side by side, these two. Shedden's done it this time. Shedden does get through this time, and that puts him into 5th place. So the fight has finally been resolved in favour of Shedden. Let's see how he did.
Here we come. He had the run. Plato went to the inside, right round the outside. There's a tiny bit of rubbing and contact. Yeah, and Plato's trying to move to the inside, but Shedden's already there. They rub panels, and Shedden's through on the inside.
That was good stuff from Shedden. He was not about to be intimidated out of the way. Plato was doing everything he could to shut the door. Fiona Leggett, I'm afraid, out of the race. She's not had a particularly good day today, but that's a great shame. She's out of the race. Joins Collard, Howell, both of them in retirement already. So lost a couple of cars from this one, but no doubt about the race leader. It is the number 1 car. It's Matt Neal, the reigning champion, who was disappointed after the second race in his attempts to take the lead. Went wrong and he ended up in 8th place. Now, though, he's got James Thompson getting a little closer. The gap down to 1.4 seconds. He is managing to match James Thompson's pace, but every now and then Thompson just gains a little bit more.
Yeah, sometimes on this circuit, because of the dirt that's dragged on at the chicanes and things, it's very easy to hit a patch of dirt and have a slide, get dirty tyres, and quite often we see inconsistent lap times here more than at some other tracks, just because of the nature of the chicanes.
When they come around this time, it'll be to go on to the final lap of the third race of the day, and it's looking good for Matt Neal. And in terms of the championship, it's vital too. He'll finish a couple of places ahead of Turkington and some 4 places ahead of Jason Plato. James Thompson has tried to close up this gap. Let's just see what it is. It's still 1.4 seconds as they go over the line. Matt Neal has responded, and James Thompson, the leader of the World Touring Car Championship, can't manage to close up that gap sufficiently, I think, to have a go on this last lap.
No, it looks like Matt Neal's going to hold that position as we thought. The car's held together well. He's driven well, and he's going to take a relieved win in this last of 3 racing, what's been a very, very exciting and at times acrimonious meeting.
Yes, at times, but I think Matt Neal will be able to celebrate a victory here. He's won here at Snetterton in the past. That was back in 2003. Had a bit of an up and down race meeting here last year, but scored very useful points. It didn't result in a race victory, unfortunately, but he did get a couple of podiums. Some great moves on Ivan Muller, who was his big rival last year. But it does look as though he's going to take a victory this time, and Sayat's stranglehold on this Snetterton meeting will be broken. It's going to be broken by reigning champion and points leader Matt Neal. He's into the final corner now, neat and tidy, pops it over the curb, no problems. He's eased it off a little bit on this last lap. Thompson will be closer, but it's no trouble at all. Matt Neal takes the final win of the day for Team Halford. James Thompson fights his way to second, having started in 8th place, and then the gap back to third. It's Chilton. Good result for Tom Chilton. He'll be pleased with that. Turkington finishes in 4th place in the Team RAC car. Gordon Shedden coming through in 5th, second of the Team Halford cars. Plato has to settle for 6th, but nonetheless, carrying maximum ballast, I think he'll be reasonably satisfied with that. Gavin Smith in 7th, ahead of James Kay, Mark Proctor, and I think we're going to see Owen Murray grab the final points in the Alfa Romeo.
Yes, certainly. From a championship point of view, well, Neal stretches just a little bit his lead over Turkington and Plato, and Turkington moves just a little bit further ahead of Plato. But overall, this weekend has seen the championship close up, and it could have been so different. Strong weekend for Sayat, certainly. And, I mean, Team Dynamics, Halford's Matt Neal only able to win the last race from the front with no ballast against Thompson with ballast. It shows how close they are.
It does, and Sayat, I think, have been able to put behind them what was a very disappointing meeting last time at Donington, and they show they have some tremendous pace. So Matt Neal is the winner, from Thompson in 2nd and Chilton in 3rd. 3 different cars there getting the podium finishes. Colin Turkington 4th, ahead of Gordon Shedden and Jason Plato, who fought hard throughout. Gavin Smith finished in 7th place, then it was James Kay in 8th. Mark Proctor finished in 9th, and gaining that final point in the Alfa Romeo was Owen Murray.
Well, we really have had a cracking day's racing here, and let's find out what that has done to the Drivers' Championship. Matt Neal in the lead still with 207 points, followed by Colin Turkington with 180. Jason Plato in 3rd place with 167 points, followed by James Thompson, 150. Gordon Shedden, that's Matt Neal's teammate, he's got 141. Tom Chilton for VX Racing. Then Gavin Smith, Fabrizio Giovanardi, Mike Jordan and Rob Collard in 10th for Team RAC. So the team championship, that means that Team Halford is in number 1 position with 334 points. Sayat in 2nd with 325 points, quite close there. And then VX Racing in 3rd with 250. And I am delighted to be joined by race 3 winner of the day, Matt Neal. Matt, at long last.
You're delighted. What expecting? I think everyone at Team Halfords, we'd had a rough weekend up to now, and the pace was in the car. It was just trying to get the results to show it, and it's nice to play the boys back with that one at the end.
Now, what happened at the start? You sort of seemed to get a bit mugged there because Tom Chilton slipped up beside you and Gareth.
I think Gareth had a bit of a fluff. I didn't have a bad start. I had a pretty good start, but Tom just had a blinder from third place, and he was through. I tried to squeeze him a bit, but there was no point in doing it because he'd already got his nose alongside me.
And what about the championship? You are still ahead?
Still ahead. Still got my head above water. Yeah, well, we're now 27. Is it 27 ahead?
Yeah.
One meeting less to go, so it's 3 meetings to go. Knockhill. It was kind to me last year, but it hasn't been in years gone past, so we'll have to see if Flash's local knowledge can help us when we get there.
Flash being, of course, Gordon. Now, just talk to me a bit about Jason Plato. As you leave Snetterton today, what thoughts will you carry of him?
Well, I mean, I've got no thoughts really. I don't know where he finished in that one. I think he was 5th, so he had another good run with the weight. James was carrying the weight, and he really started to pile the pressure on from mid-distance, and he kept me honest. I thought I got in the back halfway through, and then I had to really keep on my toes at the end, so well done, Tomo.
Indeed, well done, Tomo, and I'm going to speak to him now. James, Matt Neal there says well done to you.
Yeah, it was a good race. I enjoyed that. I think all the races today have been damn fine examples of British touring car racing. I think there's been some good old-fashioned action, and I thought maybe once I got through the pack, obviously coming from 8th place on the grid, once I got through the pack, I thought I may be able to hunt him down, but I think he probably just had enough in hand.
You were hunting him down very, very well, though.
Yeah, I had nothing to lose. You know, I'm not here to win a championship or do anything personally. So I had nothing to lose. So I drove it as fast as I could, and yeah, we're getting close at the end. I think 2 more laps, and maybe it could have been made his life a little bit more difficult.
All right. Well, well done, James. It's lovely to see you as always in the British Touring Car Championship.